Making it to the bigs in major sports is indeed a big deal. Too bad sometimes the setting for the culmination of someone's dream isn't quite up to standard. Yeah, not every stadium in major sports is all that great, and it's time to call them out. The worst stadiums in major sports are coming up right now. To be fair to the NBA, there just aren't many bad arenas in the entire league. Most have been upgraded or replaced, with Sacramento avoiding being on this list when they got rid of the sleep train and showered everyone with the Golden One Center. So what's bad about the Smoothie King Center? Well, aside from its hilariously crass name, its architecture and exterior are remarkably bland, kind of like a 90s shopping mall bathroom, if that makes any sense. Built in 1999, it actually held up better than the Superdome did during Hurricane Katrina. But compared to other NBA arenas, it's simply bland, which is okay. It's New Orleans, the city that relies on the surrounding area to be the draw, not the arena itself. And if you've been to New Orleans, the Smoothie King Center isn't really where all the action is. Earlier in 2023, there were incidents of several cars being broke into outside the arena during games, which is bad, and in 2019, a security guard was fired after a young boy ran onto the court, embarrassingly logging more minutes than Zion Williamson. Again, not a terrible arena, but one of the worst in major sports. Tropicana Field really hates it when these lists come out. Over the years, I've seen how hard the Rays and the staff have worked to make the place more cozy and inviting for baseball. And to their credit, they have done as good a job as they can. Plus, the place has air conditioning, which is a massive W. It's still lipstick on a pig though, as over the years the capacity of this place has been incrementally reduced from over 45,000 to 25,000, adding in the worst feature any stadium can have: seats covered in tarp. We have to talk about the pure ugliness of the outside of the building combined with the extremely bland and not so exciting concrete feel of the inside. The stadium is now 33 years old, which is up there even for a porn star, and some of the catwalks still technically are in play. Where in 2011, a ball hit one of the lamps up there and shrouds of hot glass littered the field. Still not nearly as bad as an incident in 2012 when an out-of-town police chief was struck by a falling bullet while attending a game at the Trop, where it was believed to be from a shooting that happened about a mile away. 5 years ago, a grease fire delayed the Rays' home opener, and the Trop isn't exactly in a nice area. Talks have been ongoing for it to be replaced, but until then, Tampa is stuck with the giant FEMA tent. They are, however, playing great baseball. Hey, look, Calgary fan, you might get butthurt that your barn is being put on this list, but you won't have to put up with it much longer. Opened in 1983, the Saddledome is not only one of the oldest arenas in the NHL, but it also has not undergone any significant upgrades since the mid-90s. In 2013, the entire arena was flooded and the place was remarkably and rapidly salvaged. But really, since then, not much has been done to the arena other than to maintain the status quo. Many fans complain that the building doesn't have enough box seats, it's difficult to move around the building, it lacks concessions, a low amount of bathrooms, the seats slope far away from the action, and there are still nosebleed seats tucked way up top. In 2022, structural issues caused parts of the roof to crumble, prompting netting to be put up because it was a serious safety hazard. However, it was just announced, just now announced, that a new $1.2 billion arena would be built soon, mostly with public funds. Yankee Stadium is an iconic venue for baseball. For soccer, not so freaking much. The MLS has come a long way from its inception, and many of their arenas are now soccer specific. Not this one though. Originally thrust into use as a soccer field in 2015 for quote unquote at least 3 years until a stadium could be built. Well, 8 years later, they are still here. In 2022, New England Revolution coach Bruce Arenas slammed the pitch as a bad baseball field. The odd configuration just doesn't seem good for anything. Plus, they play MLS games here during the same season as baseball, and that can't be good for either turf. It's also ugly as shit. Finally, in April of this year, the team announced plans to build a 25,000-seat billion-dollar stadium in Queens, which is targeted to be open in 2027. Thank God soon seeing things like this will be a thing of the past. Well, not for the next 4 years. Oh yes, the house Josh Harris inherited, the rotting, steaming dump that is FedEx Field. Are we ready to run down what a shithole this place is once again, because that's what you came for? We know about the bad plumbing, the drainage issues, the collapsed rail, which has resulted in a lawsuit, the terrible injury-inducing turf, the fact that it takes several days to leave the place because of traffic, and the inaccessibility due to greed, but really the place has just been the embodiment of Dan Snyder's tenure as owner of the team. And like most properties in the area, the new owner is coming in and overpaying for a massive fixer-upper. Though I don't really think there's much you can do to this place. Also, it really bothers me that out of all the stadiums in major North American sports, this one is still not rendered in 3D. Even busted ass abandoned RFK has polygons, but this piece of shit still has me stuck on a two-dimensional aerial view. Fuck you, Dan Snyder. Not his fault, it's Google Maps' fault. However, FedEx Field is still not worse than... You knew this one would be on here, as the rotting carcass that is Oakland Coliseum has fallen on hard times. Or is it Ring Central Coliseum or O.co? I don't know. At 57 years old, the stadium now qualifies for senior citizen discounts and definitely walks with a limp. Let's run down a few things about this place. People bang in the stands because, well, that's the only thing fun to do here. 4 fans got hit by gunfire during a fireworks show because the residents of Oakland were popping off, just like the stadium was. This is a true story. The stadium has constant issues with water pressure, flooding, and sewage. The place is infested with feral cats, moths, mold, a nearby homeless encampment, cat shit, broken seats, bad seats, water leaks, and of course, opossums. Visiting teams and the home team alike complain about the smell. Maybe that had Anthony Rendon in such a foul mood when he grabbed that fan. It's also going to get a lot worse before it ever gets better, as the A's are 99.99999% likely moving to Las Vegas, but that might not happen until 2027. And why would you put any money into a building that qualifies for AARP? So in 3 years, when this place is empty, the most likely thing that will be done and should be done is to string up a bunch of dynamite and hit that plunger like it's an old dead beached whale. But until then, hit it good in the right field bleachers if you can, dog. My man.